Welcome to another episode of Fuse in Action. Fuse means forging unity, safety, and equality. And I have a very special guest on the podcast today, my man Abdul Malik. Brief history about us two. We go back maybe 30 years. He's here to talk to youth today about crime, criminal behavior, jail, snitching, and all that good stuff that you young boys like to talk about. And it's interesting. He just came home after what?
10 years.
A 10-year bid. I remember like it was yesterday, even though it wasn't yesterday for you. But I remember it was like yesterday when he had got locked up, and he's here to share his story. And for all the young boys that's listening, pay attention, because he's going to give you some real game about what happened in his case and what normally happens in the prison systems with your homies and all that, all that hip hop stuff that we be talking about. He about to give you all some real game, man. So tell the people who are watching, why'd you get locked up? What happened?
First and foremost, my case started with me. I was at the top of my case. I ran into a guy that was working for the federal government for compensation, financial compensation, for 3 years prior to me even linking up with him. And the minute I linked up with him and I looked out for this guy, like literally put food on his table, he went straight to the DEA telling them a whole bunch of things about me, and they started building a case on me.
So basically, you thought y'all was cool.
Yeah, I thought we was cool. This guy, it wasn't cool. We even prayed together. So, that was one of the things that kind of won me over, first and foremost, being Muslim. I thought this guy had my best interests at heart as far as, protecting me from, any harms, especially from the police.
Interesting. So you basically was cool with him, prayed with him, same religion. And this goes for Muslims who are currently being disobedient to Allah. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. Fear Allah to the best of your abilities, and get a job and have a halal good earning, because he's going to tell you how this whole thing took a left. So give us some more detail about what happened to you, good brother.
Well, firstly, having a kind heart. First of all, doing the wrong thing, that was the first mistake. And then having a kind heart in the streets for people who's doing bad, that's how it started. The guy was broke. I seen him, he was doing bad in my eyes. And, I came back, I doubled back around the corner after I seen him standing on the corner, asking what he was doing. He told me what he was doing. So I really want to get into too many details about it because I don't want to glorify it. And the only reason I'm mentioning it because for some benefit. So mentioning things like this shouldn't be mentioned unless it has some kind of benefit on other people. So basically, I came back, we met up. I gave him some drugs, and it went on from there. He called me, and we discussed, a situation about 1 kilogram of cocaine, and the feds was sitting next to him. And when a person is working for the feds or is a confidential informant, they make the phone call while the feds is sitting right next to them, and they ask, can they listen to the phone call? Obviously, they're going to let them listen because they already work for them.
One-party consent.
Yes, one-party consent. So therefore, once he consents in Pennsylvania, they can do this. And so once he consented for them to listen in to us talking, so when two people are talking about committing a crime, that gives them probable cause to get a pen register. A pen register is something that they put on your phone that they don't have to have a warrant or anything. They just put it on your phone through the phone company, and they can see the volume of incoming calls. And that's how it started. The volume of incoming calls to this particular phone that I had. Obviously, it was a drug phone. And the DEA agent basically stated upon his experience, and he lists his credentials. He's been to Bogota, Colombia. He's been all over the place arresting people. and gave him it gave him leverage with a judge. He said to the judge, this phone, I know from my experience, is a drug phone, and based on what my informant is telling me. So what happened was he got a pin trap trace. So now he can see the incoming and outgoing calls on my phone. So therefore, obviously, it's a high volume because my phone was a high value phone of selling narcotics. And I went from that, and then it went from them getting more orders or whatever, what have you, to put more on my phone. So next, they started listening to my phone conversations. They started reading my texts back and forth. So that's a very grave mistake. Aside from just doing something illegal anyway, but to also do it on a phone. So after that, they was able to listen to everything that I was doing. So they tapped my phone. Everybody called my phone. They tapped their phones. And off of those phones, they tapped phones from their phones.
Damn.
So it was like a domino effect. It went on and on and on and on and on and on. So no matter how much you may change your phone or change your number, if those other people don't change their phones and change their numbers, they're going to catch you calling their phone or catch them calling your phone again. And then they're going to get another order to tap your new phone over and over and over again. It's a cycle. So no matter how much, those may think that they're doing by keep switching phones, eventually, if you're still dealing with the same people that have the same phones, it's going to catch up to you.
So at what point did you realize that you was hot? Or did you?
I didn't realize that I was. I don't want to use the term hot because in the feds, when you use the term hot, that means you snitching. So,
Okay, my correction.
But I know what you mean. Dealing with the state, when people say hot, that means the police is on you. Mm-hmm. So I never realized that they was on me because people that was around me or that I was dealing with didn't tell me that they got arrested or locked up after coming to see me. So it was 2 incidents where 2 people just left from seeing me. One told me they got arrested, the other one didn't. I didn't find that out until after I was arrested.
Oh, so you didn't find out that the second person was arrested until you got your discovery?
Yeah, when I got my discovery, actually, when I was getting driven to the federal building by the DEA agent, he was doing a lot of talking. And I'm just, I'm listening because I'm a good listener, and I'm just trying to figure out why they locking me up. So as he's talking, he mentioned a person that left my home because you hear me say my home because obviously this how close this person was to me.
So you and this person, you were friends?
Yeah, it was more than friends. It was, this is like a real close companion of mine. Like we was real close.
So this is a different guy from the guy that you saw in the corner?
Yes, way different, totally different. That guy never even. I don't even think he even got in my car before.
Oh, so this person that didn't get arrested, so you knew him very well. Did you know his family?
That
friends?
did got arrested. Yes.
That didn't tell you he got arrested.
That didn't tell me he got. Yes, exactly. Didn't tell me he got arrested. I knew. I knew him for a long time.
So you thought y'all was like the new young bucks say, y'all was green, y'all was cool, y'all was.
Yeah.
That was your man's.
Yeah, that was yeah, supposedly, and
So why he didn't tell you he got arrested?
Because he told on me basically. He told on me basically.
Y'all hear that? For all the young men that's watching this, that's breaking the law, hear what he said. And you and this guy went back how many years?
About 15. We were cellies actually before.
Oh, so they was locked up before. They was cellies. He knew him for about 15 years. We ain't gonna say his name because if we say his name, he gonna go to the feds again and say we trying to intimidate him or we are cyberbullying him or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I know exactly who you're talking about. He's a worm and he's a crab. And ironically, I never liked him.
Rodent.
Huh?
Rodent.
He's a rodent. Yeah, I didn't like him. Remember I told you that?
Nah.
Remember I told you it's something about him. I don't like him. Don't speak to him. Because he had made some statements to me before that didn't really sound manly.
Nah.
You know what I mean? It didn't sound manly, and it sounded like really selfish and weird. So I said, you know what? I told you. Something about him ain't adding up. So now you in the car. The feds got you.
Yeah. So we ride into the federal building, and I know one of the guys that got locked up after seeing me, which was somebody else was close. He called me immediately. So just in general conversation, if you was watching a football game at your homie house and you leave, and you just get pulled over, just randomly, for anything, you're gonna call me, yo, man, I got pulled over from leaving your crib.
Yeah.
Just general, like this is how we talk. So anyway, but this guy got pulled over, got locked up. He had got some work from me, and he got locked up for the work. He got right out, and came and see me, told me everything that happened. So anyway, while I'm riding to the federal building, get back to that. The DEA agent is mentioning to me about this other guy who told on me, got pulled over, and got locked up and all this other stuff. So the look that I made on my face, the DEA agent, he said, "Oh, you didn't know?"
Oh, so this is your longtime friend he talking
Right,
about.
this is my longtime friend. You know what I'm saying? So and he didn't even he didn't even say his name, but I knew who he was because I know who I was dealing with, and I know the situation, how he was naming certain things. So he said, "Oh, you didn't know?" And so I just looked, I didn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? When you get locked up, it's best to keep your mouth closed.
Okay, wait, time out. Can you say that one more time? Yeah, look at the camera. Look at both the cameras.
Yeah. When you get arrested, it's best to just keep your mouth closed, until you see your attorney. Just don't say nothing. When they let you know that what you say can be used against you, that's real.
They mean it.
Even though they don't say it to you, what I'm saying? A lot of times, even though they did say it to me once they got me in the building, they read me my rights, my Miranda rights or whatever the case may be. But 9 times out of 10, you never get these rights read to you. So the best bet is to just be quiet. Don't say nothing. Just keep your mouth shut. But so that's what I did. I'm just listening. And the good thing, obviously I kept my mouth shut because he kept talking. And he was just saying a lot of things, and a lot of stuff was going through my mind. And I just know from that moment that I was done with the street.
So whoever you was getting it from, I don't know if I read your discovery, but did they tell on you too?
Yeah, pretty much.
So your connect told on you.
Yes, he
one second now. Young boys, y'all hear that?
Yeah.
How the dude above you telling on you as well? You heard what he said? His connect told on you. Go ahead.
Yeah, at first when I was in the federal building, and I didn't even tell you this, when he first got in the building, he was asking people, do they know me, so on and so forth, and then he put out there that I told on him. I never told you that.
Wow.
Yeah. He said I told on him. So, a lot of dudes that was on my floor, a couple dudes was like, they started, looking at me side-eye, funny, you know what I'm saying? And I felt the tension, you know what I'm saying? So,
So not only did your connect tell on you, but he lightweight tried to get you lined up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, being as though that I'm Muslim, and, a lot of times it don't mean nothing to a lot of people, but it mean a lot to me. And the people that I was dealing with, and a few brothers was like, obviously like, yo, I don't believe that. I'm saying, tell them send the paperwork up. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he didn't have no paperwork because I didn't tell on him. What did happen was his phone was tapped from my phone. And so what they did, they pinged his phone off a cell tower data. And I think he was in Connecticut.
Wow.
And they narrowed it down to finding him and pulling him over in Connecticut.
Okay, young boys again. They pinged his phone off a cell phone tower in Connecticut and narrowed it down and grabbed him.
And grabbed him.
Ain't no way around these people. Yeah. Change your life, pull yourself together, go to school, get a trade, because these feds ain't playing. Keep going.
Yeah, so when he first had got in the building though, my cellie came up and told me, he was like, yo, somebody was asking about you, you know what I'm saying, down in the holding cells. You know what I'm saying? And he was saying, that you got him locked up. And, this is an old man. He was like 67 years old, Muslim. And he told me he checked him. So I sent the letter down to him. Mind you, he barely can speak English. So I got a letter written in Spanish to him, letting him know, like, asking him, like, do you got your discovery? Watch what you say, basically because you throwing dirt on my name, you know what I'm saying? And my name mean a lot. Especially, obviously at this time, in the streets. And just as a man in general. So I got the letter to him. He didn't say nothing back. So somebody else, he was going to court. He told somebody else I was telling. So then finally somebody from my neighborhood got down there on the block with him. And he changed his whole story. He said, no, only because he knows me. And one thing, I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but the Spanish guys, they try to blame the black guy for telling on them versus their own kind. And so that's what he did, because there was a lot of Spanish guys on my case as well. You know what I'm saying, that I was dealing with.
Okay.
And so the first person he tried to think of that got him in this situation
Moreno. It's
was
Moreno.
me. Yeah,
Moreno.
Exactly. So with that said, he wound up sending word up to somebody like, yo, I'm sorry. Tell him, I'm not going to put dirt on his name. He didn't tell on me. Yada yada yada. Plus, it's all public record. All you got to do is go to pacer.gov, and it's you'll pull up anybody's information, and mine is definitely public. Because I filed motions on trying to get out on compassionate release. So when you file motions and stuff like that, your whole case come up. So therefore, this is easy stuff to find. But anyway, as far as him telling how he did it was he didn't have an adult case. So therefore, when you don't have an adult case, when you get arrested by the feds, they offer you is what's called a safety valve. And the safety valve is that they bring a bunch of information to you saying so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. Did they? And that person has to say, yes, they did all of that. So they're confirming all the information that the feds bring to them, and essentially
could this possibly be about people they don't even know?
Yeah, anything.
Well, wait. So you mean to tell me when they come to you with this safety valve thing or whatever you call it, and they put a whole bunch of people that they want to get indicted or they want to lock up, you got to confirm everything they're saying, even if you know them or not.
Everything that they bring in, they want you to confirm it, and they confirm it. And this is only offered to those who have no adult record.
Okay.
In the feds, you can't. They don't offer this to nobody else but them.
Feds is they play greasy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. So I'm quite sure they started asking you about people, asking you, do you know this person? Asking you, actually to rat on other people as well. At what point did that happen?
The first I could say the first hour I was locked up.
Wait.
The first, yeah.
They asked you to tell as soon as they put the handcuffs on you?
When they got me in the federal building, they all put me in a room. It was like a meeting. They tried to, not I won't say necessarily a meeting, but they put me in a room, and all of them surrounded me at the table. He read me my rights, and then that's when they started going in about
how many federal agents was around you? How many?
Like 9.
God damn.
It was like 9 of them.
Yeah, that was for the intimidation thing.
Yeah. It was about 9 of them. It was all around. One was standing at the door.
It was all white.
Yeah, all white.
Oh my God.
A couple Spanish guys. But they was white.
They think they white too. Yeah. So that was like the Last Supper with all feds. So you was only nigga there.
Yeah. We're at the round table.
Okay.
Literally, it was a round table. It lasted for about 8 minutes. Obviously, that's all it was going to last because they wasn't getting nothing out of me. And that was the last time they talked to me about anything. They never asked me. They never came back. They never tried to have me come down and sit me down and try to make me take what they call a proffer.
Explain what that is. I know what it is, but explain it to the audience if they don't know what that is.
A proffer is when they call you down to to have a meeting, and they proffer you. For whatever it is they want, the information they want from a person. And you don't have to take the proffer if you don't want to. It's best not to take the proffer because you're gonna look wild coming from a proffer and somebody asks you where you was at, because that's how it is in the feds. When you leave that block, when you leave that block, other than going on a regular visit or an official visit, meaning with an attorney, people gonna ask you where you was at, yo. They're gonna ask you.
You was going too long.
Yeah, you was going too long. That one thing about that federal building on 6th and Arch is wicked. I mean, it's like a maze. Like you'll be going to court with 8 people behind you. You turn around and they be gone, literally. I'm talking about it's really scary.
So basically, from my understanding, the proffer is they ask you everything. They may ask you 100, 200 questions.
They ask you anything.
And you have to be. So this is a part of you telling, right?
I get, yeah. If I guess if you take the proffer, if you know what I mean, because you know what you're going into. So it's like if you're willing to sit down with them, which we know we're not supposed to be sitting down with them.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to go sit down with them, you must be willing to tell. You know, some guys might go and try to see what information they have against them or whatever. Either way, it's not cool. We don't take no proffer. We don't do proffers. I mean, if you saying you're a real street dude, we don't do no proffers. You know, you get what they gave you. Either you fight it or you just plea out and get out the way. But we don't take no proffers. We don't do that.
So at some point, because I kind of remember vaguely what was going on. At some point, I guess during that meeting with those 9 federal agents had you at the round table, they went back and they talked. And he said he ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
They can probably tell by the way he was looking, your facial expressions. Because the feds are they're trained to read your body language. They're trained to read you as an individual. They are the only organization that don't run out of money.
Yeah.
So they don't do a psyche eval on you. They listen to all your conversations.
Yeah.
They was following you for a while.
Yeah, they had a GPS on my car. They had a camera. They had put a camera up on a pole where I used to frequent. Yeah, they was on me, man. They even know I didn't get high, drink or smoke.
For real?
They even knew that.
Didn't one of the FBI agents say that you was a good dad?
Yeah. That's what, yeah. The first thing they asked me when they locked me up outside my crib was any kids in the house. That's the first thing they asked me. About my kids, because I always have my kids with me. So that was the first thing. But back to the safety valve. Let me get back to the safety valve. So with this safety valve that this guy took, he got the reason how I found out he had a safety valve when I had pulled his stuff up, had his stuff pulled off a pacer. He had you get 3 points off for pleading guilty in the feds. Mm-hmm. You get 2 points off for pleading guilty, and you get another point off for pleading guilty in a timely manner, meaning like not wasting their time.
Or money, yeah.
Yeah, or money. So he had another 2 points. So I'm like, what the hell is this 2 points?
Where other 2 points come from?
Yeah, it was an E something. I forgot, feds, they got a lot of statues and numbers and letters. So it was an E something, if I'm not mistaken. Those who know the federal system, they can correct it. But so I looked it up. There's a book called Busted by the Feds. It's about this thick, like an old telephone book. I don't know if y'all young bucks know.
No.
Never seen a telephone book before.
No.
But anyway, like an old Bell Atlantic telephone book, like this thick. So I went in it. I gotta find this. And that's when it said the safety valve. So anyway, what happened was he got an extra 2 points off. So my point of bringing this up is they charged me with 8.8 kilograms of coke and 2 guns.
Wait. So what did they actually physically get?
They got 4 off of me, actually 4.
4 kilos.
4 keys. They got 4 keys off physical ones. And I think they got 125 grams off of somebody that they locked up, and I believe an ounce off of somebody. One of the rats they got an ounce off of him.
Okay.
When they grabbed them. So now the reason why I'm saying this is because my connect that took the safety valve, they charged him with 15 kilos.
So they charge him with double what they charge you with?
Yes, they charged me with 8.8 keys and they charged him with 15. And he got 47 months.
That's 4 years. A little less than 4 years.
47 months. I got 156 months.
Damn.
Yeah. So
what was those other 2 points for?
The other 2 points was for snitching. Was for the safety valve. So that's what he got the extra points off for. So that's why I just wanted to give you like some measure on exactly what took place and how I figured out that he had told.
Mm. So when you was fighting, you got the lawyer, whatever the case you was fighting, due to your past, quote unquote criminal history, what were you facing?
At the time I was facing, because what happened was I was pleading out because one thing is it's hard to do is to fight your own voice. Meaning they had my phone's bugged. So they had every conversation, everything I ever said, every text message. So I figured it was a lose-lose situation for me to try to go to trial and get smoked. So when I pled guilty, they did what you call a PSI, a pre-sentence investigation.
Yeah.
So you sit with a federal probation officer, and they get all of your life history from you. And they act cool. They act like they're your friend, and then all the information you give to them, they turn around and use it against you. So what happened was, due to my prior criminal history, they gave me a career offender. So therefore, when it came, it's called a 4B1.1, and it came back as a career offender. So I had a guidelines of 262 months to 327. It's about 25 years or better. That's what I was facing.
Between 25 and 30 years.
Yeah, that's what I was facing at first. So the reason why they gave me the career offender, this is some jewels that y'all need to listen to, is because I had a prior violent crime in the state and a drug case in the state. So therefore, when you have certain type of felonies on your jacket from the past, they'll use them to give you a career offender in the feds. So what happened was, it was a case called Johnson versus United States. And this case, I used this case to get the career offender off my back, because what it was that even though it was a violent crime using a gun in the state, it has to match the federal statute of violence.
Okay.
So it was a mismatch. And I know this is a lot of law I'm talking, so it may y'all may not understand me, but if you just do your research, you'll figure it out. So I'm reading cases on the computer where even people punching police in the face. It's not violent federally.
But it's
violent. It's a state.
Statewide.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird, like how, weed is legal in the state. You can grow weed legally in the state, but federally it's illegal.
Yeah,
it's just like, it's man-made laws. It never adds up. So anyway, with that said, a guy came down from Berlin. It's a jail in Berlin. It's in New Hampshire. They call it Berlin. And he came down, he was cutting hair. So we had a conversation. I was wondering why he was in the jail. Why he, what he came down on writ for. And so he told me, I came down on the Johnson, and me and him had the same crimes. And we caught a case in the same area. It's ironic, crazy. So anyway, he gave me all this stuff. He let me read it overnight. I came out the next morning and I said, I need to get this case. I need to steal this from you. Can you type it up for me? So he said, I got you. So I got a ribbon, all this, legal jargon. I got all this stuff together. And so we printed up the motion, Johnson versus United States, and we put all my stuff in, my history in it. Boom, I shot it to the judge. So one day, somebody had got stabbed up in the jail, so we was locked down, and I had got a call. Official visit was co-ed. Mm-hmm. So I go down to the visit, and I take all my paperwork with me. One thing about in the feds, you got to take it. You got to take your paperwork wherever you go. Another thing, because people will be in the cell reading your paperwork, and they'll insert themselves in your case.
Well, wait. Explain that. I know what you mean, but explain it to the audience.
So when you go to visits and things like that, if you give your paperwork to somebody that you trust, or make sure you take your paperwork or your legal work down with you to your lawyer, because people they'll put the curtain up in the cell, act like they're using the bathroom, and they'll be reading your discovery, and then they'll insert themselves in your case and act like you either served them before, or if they locked up for robbery, y'all robbed somebody before, and they'll make it seem to the feds that you and this person done a crime together, and they'll snitch on you that way to get time off their case. So the federal system is wicked, and the federal jails is wicked. So you gotta be very careful. So anyway, I take all my paperwork down with me, and when I walk in, my lawyer, he was like, he slid me a paper. He's like, read that. So I pick it up, I read it. So it says, my guidelines has now been reduced to 151 months to 188, based on Johnson versus United States Robinson's violent crime is not considered a violent crime in the federal
On the federal level, yeah. Yeah.
And so therefore my guidelines got dropped dramatically.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
I remember that day. I was at Honey Grow.
Yeah.
I was getting something to eat. Yeah, I remember because Kobe called me.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Yeah, that was a real good day,
Alhamdulillah.
man. So when you heard you was facing 30 years,
Yeah.
did it ever cross your mind to tell on people?
Nah. When what happened was the part that I left out when they was interrogating me. Well, it wasn't even interrogation for real, to be honest with you. One had left out and came back and was like, giving me.
He acted on it.
Yeah, like. Like how the dealers be in the casino when you bust, like it's like something happening to them.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's like, he's like, it's like you looking at 20 years, man, because of the guns. Because I had a Glock 22 with extendo on it and a 40 Smith & Wesson, and he said basically, based on my criminal history and then the extendo, it gave me an enhancement. It's an enhancement. So not only the gun is bad, but then for having a magazine, what have you, with that many rounds, and I think it was about a 25 shot clip. That enhanced my crime. So they gave me an enhancement. They gave me that made my
how many years?
My
How many
gravity score go up?
How many years do you think just having that clip? Because I got a point I want to make, and having that extended clip or extendo, like these young boys like to say, how many years you think that added on to what they were trying to give you?
I think it added on about a good 24 months.
So hear this now,
added
young
20
fellas. We ain't even talk about this switch that y'all be talking about.
Yeah, that's
all
different.
These rappers and everybody glorifying this switch. We're just talking about an extended clip was added, which gave him another 2 years on what he could have possibly gotten in jail.
Yeah.
Right. Not to mention turning a gun from semi-automatic to fully automatic is what you young boys are doing with these switches, right? Yeah. So ain't no telling what the guidelines for that type of changing of the gun will do to you if you get arrested with one of those switches that these rappers and you young boys like to glorify. And another thing that he said, pay attention very closely, his prior criminal history played a part in him facing 25 to 30 years. So just because you ain't do no crazy time, understand the criminal justice system is they're setting you up for the big one.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because what happens is early on when we get locked up, our first case we plead guilty because they're going to let us right out with probation. Second case we might plead guilty. We know we're not going to get a lot of time, but later on down the line it bites you in the behind. So with that said, you might want to try to fight your cases because more than likely, a lot of these cases they're beatable, but we just automatically because obviously we broke, we don't know nothing about the law, and we get a public defender or pretender, and the first thing they tell us to do is plead guilty. So it's like a thing with the public defenders is that their job is to make you plea out.
So they don't have to do any work.
They don't have to do no work. That's what they do. They make you plead guilty. So this is what happens early on because our first case we can plead guilty, we gonna get probation. But if you're gonna continue to be doing crime, then you might want to fight your case and try to win versus pleading out because it's gonna bite you in the butt later.
All right, so you figure you're facing 25 to 30. You got it dropped to what, 13?
Yeah, 13. He gave me I got sentenced to 156 months.
Can't nobody divide that up, man.
So basically, that's 13 years.
Yeah.
13 years.
144. 12 times 12 is 144. Yeah. 12 times 30 is 156.
Yeah. So
okay.
they
13 years.
Then it got reduced because I played guilty. I got it. They gave me a year and a half off automatically. Good time, earned time. I got 10 months. 10 months is a year if you have your diploma, which I had already. You look like that.
You had your diploma? My man. No, I thought you had a GED from the Job Corps. Dog. I didn't know you had a diploma. My man, I would hug you, man. But you get your throw on. I ain't gonna hug you, man.
So that played a part. Also, my age all that played a part in it. And but they gave me the time off, and then I wound up getting the First Step Act, and then I wound up getting
What's the First Step Act?
First Step Act was something that Trump introduced during COVID.
Okay.
Because of the COVID, because nobody was able to program. Nobody could program because COVID, everything was shut down. They shut the jails down for visits and everything. So nobody could program. So he made a way for people to get credit for programming that they really didn't do. Or if they did just a little, whatever programs they did, they added them all up and gave you time off. And then also, I got some more relief from what they did was years ago, I would say prior to 2024, I would say, they when you get arrested and you were on parole, they gave you a 2-point enhancement in the feds. So mind you, I got enhancement for the gun. I got enhancement for the clip.
More time for the clip.
I got more time for being on parole. So what happened was it's just like it's like unconstitutional because it's like you still paying for a crime that you already did time for. You already paid your debt to society for that crime. So anyway, they took that back. So therefore, that took 2 points off. So that case was I forgot what that actual case was, but I filed the paperwork for that case too. So all in all, it allowed me to do get time served February 1st, 2024, which is 9 years, and then remember, like I said, I was on parole, so I had to go back to the state for another year. So that's all in all. I did 10 years. I did 9 in the feds, and I did the 1 other year in the state.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back, and I want you to tell the youth the experiences that you had in the jail, that it ain't a game, that it's serious, and you can describe some of the stuff. You can be as graphic as possible, you know what I mean, to let them know that this ain't no game. We're back with the second half of my man Abdul Malik's story. The first half was about how you got indicted, how you got locked up, how your connect testified on you, how dudes that were underneath you serving you told on you, and how someone you was very close to told on you as well. That individual was a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's interesting too, before we go into your jail story, I saw him. I was out one day and I saw him in a restaurant. And he walked by me and gave me this ice grill. The nerve of these rats.
Like you did something.
Like I really did something. So he walked by me, like he kind of swelled his shoulders and stuff up, right? And he had this ice grill. He looked at me and he turned his face. You know, he turned his face real slow. I beat the shit out your punk ass. But I knew that if I would have said anything to him, it would have been a hardship on you.
Absolutely.
I knew he would have went right back to the feds, and he would have told the feds that you had sent me out here to intimidate him. So I don't went to jail for trying to intimidate a witness, and you definitely would have you'd have got more time. For what you did. Yeah. So that was the last time I saw that crab, that flea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And interesting too, because it's nothing worse than an individual pretending to be your friend and just straight sell you out. You know, you was good to him, you was good to his family. Yes. You even asked me to be nice to that sucker.
Definitely.
And I was only nice to this crab, this sucker, because of, you know, the way I feel about you. And before we get to the story, like, you know, there's nothing honorable about selling drugs. There's nothing honorable about breaking the law. There's nothing honorable about disobeying Allah if you're Muslim. But one thing I can honestly say, every time your name comes up in my circle, I always mention it with nothing but respect, because you could have made a lot of people's lives very difficult. But you didn't.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But you know what's interesting though? I know some people, when they heard you had got locked up, you know, had no fear, didn't hesitate speaking to you, because you from the old school.
That's right.
And there was no fear about certain people communicating with you, talking with you, because they knew that they were safe, because they knew that you was going to stand on business. That's right. Like you young boys like to say, and none of you stand on business. All
Yeah.
right. But, we knew that you were going to stand on business. It was no doubt in our minds that you ain't selling nobody out, man.
Exactly.
He likes what he sees in the mirror. So he's never going to sell his friends out or his enemies.
Only thing I was folding was money. I stopped doing that.
Yeah, we had to talk about the phones.
Yeah, the phones. Okay.
So what's the story? All right, before we get into how, when you were incarcerated, some of the things that you saw, some of the things that you witnessed that could really benefit the youth coming up. What were you saying when we took the break, like to remind you what we were going to talk about?
All right. Well, I don't know if you I know you might remember the story, the situation, but I don't know if you remember. It was 2001, I believe. Yeah, 2001. You had gave me
What I give you?
You had gave me a discovery from these boys in Chester that got locked up in Chester. They had a Ferrari. They had a whole bunch of stuff in their case. And what happened was it was two crews. One of the crews was supposed to try to rob the other crew, and they wound up indicting them both all together. I don't know if you remember this, but anyway, you had the discovery. Somebody gave it to you. And
Okay.
I read it, and it was
Damn, you make it seem like I'm working. So.
No.
Go ahead.
So somebody gave it to you, I guess. So the moral of the story is, what I'm saying is that this whole case was built off of wiretaps, off of phones. And I'm saying that to say about these phones is that after me reading that and seeing that like a dummy, I still talked on the phone after.
I remember that phone conversation we had, right?
Yeah.
Because you called me from the feds. I was like, yo, what's going on? You're like, I'm like, what you mean? He was like, I'm in here because I did exactly what you told me not to do for years.
Yeah. So them phones was played a real intricate part in my incarceration. So, but I was just, it just hit me when we was off that, I was gonna give you that reminder about, sometimes even though we're given advice or warning, we don't take it, because not doing something on the phone and trying to commit crime nowadays is very tedious for a person to not have a phone, for a person to just, meet up and just talk about what it is they're going to do. So what I'm saying is basically that if you got to go through all of that, then you shouldn't even be committing crime.
You shouldn't be committing crimes. You shouldn't be committing crimes. Because I do remember a scenario where it was some person that I didn't like, and I said, "Where are you?"
I thought I ain't like nobody.
No, I didn't like this other dude, right? Oh. And what wound up happening was, remember I drove almost an hour and a half, 2 hours to meet with you to have a conversation about this person I didn't like?
Yeah, absolutely.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old school.
That's right, no doubt.
Yeah, I drove 2 hours. He said, he was like, well, what you got to say? I said, I'll see you in 2 hours, in 12 minutes. Yeah. We'll talk about it then.
That's right.
Click. And the information that I told you was...
Yeah, it was Sahih.
It was very accurate, wasn't it?
Authentic, yeah.
Very accurate. And that individual is dead now. I don't know how he died, right? You said he died somehow, or whatever the case may be. But this individual was running around.
Good riddance.
Yeah, good riddance. Yeah, he was setting people up. And let me tell you something. These informants are dangerous. Before we go into your incarceration story, because like I said earlier, we heard about how you got indicted and how you got told on, ratted on by your connect and people underneath you. Yeah. And your quote unquote light skinned friend who I ain't never like anyway. But this same informant that I drove 2 hours to talk to you about, he had a problem with me. He had a problem with me because one of his chicks he was messing with liked me. Mm-hmm. So as a result, listen to this very carefully. As a result, he tried to line me up with the feds because a girl that he was madly in love with liked me. That's when I had like the weaves and all that stuff back in the day. You dig what I'm saying? He tried to literally line me up with the feds.
Yeah. I never met him, by the way.
You didn't meet him?
Never met him.
The other dude you was with that dropped the ball met him though.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that, and called me with that foolishness.
Yeah.
And I hung up on his goofy ass too. Remember that?
For sure.
And said, "Don't ever call me again."
Yeah, I never met this guy.
Yeah. So I remember that story, but the guy literally was going out of his way trying to get me locked up. He actually told a family friend of yours that he had 6 kilos of cocaine for me.
It's powerful.
And I don't even know this guy. That's what I'm telling you, young bulls. Don't break the law. Get a job, get a trade, and try to figure it out. Because I don't know how you got cocaine for me. I don't sell cocaine. I don't even know you. But since you didn't like the fact that your girl liked me, he tried to line me.
Yeah.
He tried to line me just on that.
Yeah.
And that's how dangerous these informants are. This is how dangerous these fragile alliances that you young boys make with these dudes spinning the block and all this hip hop stuff. This man was facing 30 years. The feds, he had 9 federal agents in the room with him. And he said, "Listen, I don't know what to tell you."
Even, the first one of the things that he said to me was like, you don't owe no loyalty to these guys. So you don't owe no loyalty to these guys. I said, he said, "You got kids." I said, "They got kids too."
Oh.
Then I pointed, I said, "Would you do that to any one of them in here?" So, obviously he said, "Yeah, if they broke the law." I said, "Come on."
No, they don't, because the federal agents, they break the law themselves. Yeah. They make little pacts amongst each other as well.
Yeah, I said, "Come on now." So that lasted, man, rough. I mean, I think it was about 8 minutes. It probably seemed like it was 5. And they never, ever tried to call me for a proffer. They never, ever tried to say anything. Nothing. They never came back to me. That's the thing, when you're in the federal building, you see a lot of dudes leaving that block all the time, and they be prepping them to get on that pine.
What's that? The stand?
Yeah, the stand.
All right, so you in now? You locked up?
Yeah.
Right. But you've been locked up before, right? But you've never been in the feds.
No.
Interesting. So tell us some of the things that you experienced while being locked up. Start with some of the crazy stuff, and then we'll end off with the good stuff, because we always want to leave on a positive note here at Fuse.
Well, first, let's say this. Initially, when everyone found out that I was locked up by the feds, a lot of people got low. A lot of people got low. Family.
I ain't get low, did I?
Friends, nah. Some people ran from me, but you ran to me.
Alhamdulillah.
Once you get locked up by the feds, everybody just get low. Everybody's scared of the federal government. And so,
but wait, time out. I want to say that. I want you to say that one more time. Hey, you young boys, I need y'all to listen to this, and I need you to listen to this carefully. When you got locked up, your family did what?
Some of them ran.
What did I do?
Ran to me.
I ran to you.
No, absolutely.
Because he's my friend.
So
he's my man.
So everybody that everybody that you may be on the corner with, doing crimes with, smoking with, drinking with, when you get locked up, you don't hear from these people. You in that cell by yourself. You got to pay for that lawyer by yourself. You got to face that judge by yourself. So people leave. People don't stick around when you get arrested. The first thing they do is they go for your money. They ask where your money at. They want to get your cars. They want to get your property. They want to get your jewelry. These are the things that happen when you get locked up. When you have a lot of people around you that you think is loyal, but they really not loyal. They disloyal people. Everybody's out for themselves. So therefore, that's something that you need to keep in mind. You need to, if you're doing something like this, you need to understand that people is gonna leave you. You're gonna be in this situation alone. So if you can't handle that, being alone, because this is where a lot of these guys crack and break at, when they don't have nobody. Their mom don't come through for them. Their homies don't come through for them. Just like my dad used to tell me when I call him from prison. He said, "Don't call me," and I don't want to use this word, but I'm gonna use it. He says, "Call them niggas you was on the corner with." So, my dad didn't have no money. My mom didn't have no money. But anyway, getting to the incarceration. So in the federal system, it's totally different from the state. It's very segregated. So, when you come in, you have the Puerto Ricans hang with the Puerto Ricans, Dominicans hang with Dominicans, Mexicans hang with Mexicans, whites hang with whites, blacks hang with blacks, or actually states or cities hang with each other. So therefore, when you get into the federal system, DC has the most people in the federal system because they have no state jails. So when you get in there, it's majority of DC guys throughout the federal system. So, and it's very segregated when you get in there. So, no matter how cool, if he's Puerto Rican and I'm black, we may be on the street. When we get in prison, you damn near like enemies. They make them choose, especially a lot of the Spanish guys, they make them choose to be with the Spanish guys, or you on your own. So, that's one of the things that about being in a federal system is the difference from the state.
So how about religion? How's that work? So if you Spanish and you Christian, can you be with black Christians? If you Spanish and you Muslim, is it okay for you to be with the Muslims? How that work in the system?
Okay, if you weak and you let's say you're not, let's say, see, I don't want to keep mentioning about the Spanish people because I have to though, because they very strong in their influence over another Spanish person. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's like, and this is true. You have two people enter on a unit or a block in the jail, and one black, one Spanish. Mm-hmm. The Spanish guy come on the block. The Spanish guys put a bag together for him: food, toiletries, sweatpants, sneakers, whatever else he need, Walkman, anything he needs. A black dude, nobody don't give him nothing. Nobody give nothing. So that's another thing. They stick and support. They stick to their own kind and they support their own kind. This is another thing to take in mind, is that black people, we do not stick together. And it takes us maybe a week or two once a couple dudes fill you out. He good, he cool, and then somebody will come and give you something if they don't know you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The Spanish dudes, they don't care. They don't have to know them. Soon as they enter the unit, they get the bag together for you. You know what I'm saying? It's the Spanish. So that's a crazy experience right there. First entering into the federal system. Religion, the Muslims, obviously, we got brothers from every corner of the earth. Yeah. The only time there's an issue when it comes to the Muslims and someone outside of that, again, if they was in a gang and they want to be Muslim, they have to deal with the gang leader or whoever running that set or whoever running those guys in the jail. Mm-hmm. So more than likely, sometimes it boils down to one of the strong Muslims stepping up for this person who want to take his shahada, want to be Muslim, mm-hmm. and he'll go to, because it's real political, okay. Very, very political. So he'll go to what you call a shot caller, okay, of a particular gang, whether it's Blood, Crip, Dieta, Paisa, mm-hmm. Tango Blast. There's a whole bunch of different gangs in the prison. And, they'll talk to him and say, look, this guy want to take shahada, he wants to be Muslim. Sometimes they say, nah. No, he with us, and that's it. And sometimes it comes down to a knife fight. Sometimes it happens. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's all on the individual, how strong or weak he is. Because I know somebody who took shahada and he prayed with us a few times, mm-hmm. but he had came in. There's another gang that's called 27s. Mm-hmm. They Puerto Ricans too, and they said no, he came in a 27. If he would have came in and said he was Muslim first, then we wouldn't have no problem with it. So what they told him was, they said, you can pray, but you can't pray with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they thought it was they think Islam was a black religion or something. You know? So, but he was weak. He cried, he went for everything. Yeah, he cried and everything. So, That was wild. That was wild. You know what I'm saying? So, the thing is that I'm not going to throw the first punch. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw the first punch for you. You got to throw the first
punch for you. Yeah.
Then I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna back your play.
Yeah.
So if you're not willing to step up and do that, and this guy, he made all kinds of excuses about the gang because the gang, it was going to affect his brother that was in another jail. So they was going to send word for his brother to get smashed in a whole another jail. So, that thing is real strong, man. They but you just got to, you got to man up. So that was a wild thing. You know what I'm saying? As far as religion, since you wanted to ask about the religion.
Yeah. So you ever see anybody get stabbed up, hit in the head, cracked upside the head?
Yeah.
I ain't asking
Yeah, that's
you.
like
I ain't asking you. Did you do it?
That's like oh man. I mean, it's, sad to say. We become desensitized to these things. That happens every day.
Every day.
It happens every day.
Okay, so young boys who got the switches, the ARs, the Dracos, all these fancy names for all of this criminal shit that y'all doing, right? You ever see a switch, a Draco,
No, you
a
check
4-pound? You ever see one of those in jail?
No, you check them in at the door.
So you checking them at the door. Okay, so what you got to do?
You know how to fight. You know how to make a knife.
So do you know how to fight and do you know how to make a knife?
Yeah, I was in when I first went in, I went to a camp. So the camp, lovely. You can walk, if you wanted to walk off and go home, you can do it. I mean, obviously with some consequences, but the camp is, the camp is sweet. You know what I'm saying? I got kicked out the camp. So when I got kicked out the camp, they sent me to Fort Dix. Now, Fort Dix is in New Jersey, and it's probably one of the most violent, low security prison in the system. A lot of violence every day. Every single day is a lot of violence in there. 2,500 people on two sides. You got the east side, you got the west side.
Yeah.
You got 2,500 people on each side. So you can imagine how that is. 2,500 people, throughout different buildings. You got every gang you can name. So anyway, a lot of times in Fort Dix, they try to carry it as if they're in a penitentiary, which is a high. So you got high, medium, low, minimum. So, but Fort Dix was like, was serious. Yeah, Fort Dix was serious. Multiple stabbings, multiple beatings. I mean, like every day, dudes getting extorted. We had them phones.
1,200.
Yeah, for 45. yeah, the first one. Yeah, numbers went up.
Yeah,
But
I remember that.
So yeah, a lot of people, dudes had, had stuff, you know what I'm saying, that, if you couldn't govern it, then, some people feel like you shouldn't have it.
So basically what you're saying is if you was able to get a phone in the jail and somebody thought you were sweet, they was taking it.
Yeah, they was coming for that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they coming for it.
Anybody ever try you for your phone?
I'm home, ain't I?
I know that's right.
I'm on the street.
So you say you ain't got no murder charge.
We're doing this interview somewhere else.
So you young boys, y'all listening to that? Because I noticed a lot of these young boys running around with these switches and these Dracos. These motherfuckers is $110, 120, 30 pounds.
Yeah, you check them in at the door. Yeah. It ain't, it's just, jail, man, is wild, man. Like I said, you're gonna be in there by yourself. It's very rare that, that you get the right support that you need throughout the time that you're in there. A lot of stuff, a lot of times, a lot of crimes that everybody's committing on the street don't even have money for an attorney. And now, from what I'm seeing, I got a nephew that got 3 life sentences that we trying to get out right now. And
wait. So he was accused of being a shooter.
Yeah, he got 3 life sentences.
And let me just say something about shooters. All right, listen up carefully, right? I don't condone breaking the law. I don't condone none of this stuff, right? But I have never seen a successful shooter. there's no end game when it comes to shooting other than death or incarceration. Even if you're a drug kingpin, you know, you can go take your shahada, accept Islam, you know what I'm saying? Go to the masjid, tuck in, you Gucci. You know, if you want to go, you know, if you want to be Christian, you go get saved, you do your thing, you go to church, you Gucci, right? But the thing about a shooter is that you've killed someone or multiple people's family members. God may forgive, but people really don't. You dig what I'm saying? So you can retire from selling drugs, but you can never retire and not look over your shoulder when you're a shooter. And the thing about being a shooter, young bucks, there's really no benefit in it. There ain't no bread in it, right?
No, not at
there
all.
ain't no glory in it.
Not
And
at all.
all of you get caught, and there's no statute of limitation on murder, meaning that if you kill someone in 2001, that warrant is still on your head in 2099 if you're still living.
Yeah, you know, like I mentioned, you know, this stuff, you know, that you may be doing, you're not getting enough money to defend yourself properly when you get locked up. Everything is up. All the number prices is different now. I know somebody right now got a theft charge, and the lawyer want $20,000 from him. $20,000. So imagine if you got a homicide. Imagine if you got a shooting. You know, we looking at upwards $25,000 to $50,000. So, you know, that's why it's very easy for a person who get locked up with you as your rappy, what we call, which means, you know, co-defendant. So easy to tell on you because they don't have no money to defend themselves. They have no win. So, you know, when you have these kind of odds against you, crime don't pay. It don't pay at all. So, you know, but, you know, back to the jail, man. These jails is filled with a bunch of junkies. Everybody getting high off K2. Everybody getting high off of Suboxones now, actually. It's so crazy. See, this is something that we got to understand. Now in the prison, they're giving Suboxones to you. So if you act like you have a perk addiction, you can go down and sign up, and they'll give you Suboxones.
So they're turning you into a junkie in the jail, even if you wasn't on the street.
In the prison.
Wow.
So this how bad it's gotten in prison. Everybody's getting high. Everybody is just like walking around like zombies. I mean, literally, like zombies. The state is even worse. You know, in the state they got e-cigarettes, like electric cigarettes.
Really?
Everybody is like a fad. Everybody's addicted to those. Running up debts off of cigarettes, off of e-cigarette. So, you know, being in prison, man, is it can be very lonely. You have to be strong-minded. Everything is intensified. You know, things on the street that we go through, what people go through on the street, we won't. A lot of I would say a lot of y'all may not understand who never been to prison before how a person can get killed or stabbed up just because they didn't get off the phone fast enough for the next person to use a phone, or someone jumped them in a line going to the chow hall, or somebody bumped into them cutting between a space that was too small without saying excuse me. You know, turning the TV while everybody watching it without letting everybody know that they about to turn the TV. So all these things people get stabbed for, people get knocked out, people get hit in the head with a lock and a sock. All these things we don't understand, or you don't understand on the street, that people get killed in prison over these small things. It's like hard for a person on the street to fathom what really goes on in prison. So, you know, I ain't gonna talk about, you know, other stuff like, you know, when I first came through the system, you know, guys getting raped and stuff like that.
Just like flat out raped.
Yeah.
Just like an individual that's just not homosexual at all.
Yeah.
So what do you think the men that that look at these young bulls coming in, what do you think? How do you think they target them? Like, what goes into that process? Like, you know what? I'm a rape dude.
He looks soft. He
Just
looks
that.
soft, frail, skinny, you ain't got no weight on you.
Wow.
And old headed, back in the day, it don't happen much now because most likely now, if you want to get raped, you'll get raped. So it's more, it's because it's looked down upon a lot of people now versus the way it used to be back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when I first came through, it was actually dying down. A situation that I kind of like didn't witness, but I seen the aftermath. It was a white dude. He owed somebody a debt, and so he how they say he took it out his behind literally.
Wow.
He jumped over the tier, almost killed himself pretty much, in the shot he raped him in the shower. So, this was like
So was it a gang of dudes or was one dude?
It was just one dude. It was just one dude. So, but this is what happens, man. Now Pennsylvania is different. It's a lot of the jails is a little bit, they're like almost like PC jails now. But these other states,
What's PC? Protective custody?
yeah.
Okay.
But these other states, these jails are still running like back in the day penitentiaries.
Young boys, y'all heard that? So I know young boys that hear this talking about shit. Ain't nobody raping me. I ain't going for that shit.
Well, I mean, this what, a lot of old heads, man, what they used to do, man, is they'll act like they know your family, or they might know your family. They've been in for 30 though. They ain't going home. They don't really care about your family, any person's family anyway. They'll get, young boy think he's cool, might buy him a TV, buy him a pair of sneakers, and old head might box. So Pennsylvania and Philly was renowned
For boxing.
for boxing.
Yeah.
So they get the young boy in the cell, act like he training him, hit him with a vicious body shot, and it's over. And
Damn.
you see the young boy walking around the jail like this, with his head down.
Wow.
So, it can happen, man. You know what I'm saying? It can happen, you know what I'm saying? And now though, since the drugs is more prevalent in the jails, now they use the drugs. It's not what can you do? What can you do if you took 4 Suboxones?
Yeah, you can't defend yourself.
What you gonna do?
Yo, this is something for the youth, man. Just really listen carefully. Listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, especially like who want to jump on Suboxone and these other drugs, even if you wasn't hooked on perks, you using that shit as a desensitizer, man. Is in your mind is helping your time go by faster. But in reality, you probably got somebody looking out the corner of their eye like, you know what, young boy hooked on these joints.
Yeah.
Because Suboxone, they're addictive.
Yes, they is.
So now you're gonna slide you 1 or 2 Suboxone, crack you in your head, you're gonna wake up raped.
Yeah, you got some real live predators, man.
Yeah, raped. Yes, raped.
Alhamdulillah, I never experienced none of that.
No, because you wouldn't be up there.
I ain't experienced none of that.
You be doing life. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't experienced none of that.
Alhamdulillah.
And I'm not saying that everybody that go to prison have to be tough. It's just, it's just a thing about carrying yourself with integrity, honor, and respect. And no matter what size you is, if that's what you stand on, yeah, it'll be respected.
Okay.
It'll be respected. Even if you don't do nothing, somebody, everybody should know that you're willing to.
You capable.
Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah, because we see on Instagram all the time how these YNs, whatever they call them, like they in the penitentiaries get smacked all around.
Yeah, you gonna get
pleading their
tried.
case,
You gonna get tried.
smacked around because that, like you said earlier, you gotta check that gun at the door.
Yeah, you're gonna get tried. I mean, I've been tried. I'm not gonna say that I've never been tried. You know what I'm saying? But I passed the test.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You
know
look
what
like
I'm
you thinking about that shit. Somebody try to take your oodles and noodles or something.
I mean, he just, nobody never tried to take nothing from me. It was just, just disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Just, anything, basketball game. You know what I mean? Jail, playing basketball in jail was different.
Yeah.
Than playing basketball on the street. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no fouls. Nobody ain't calling foul.
Yeah.
You know, so you're gonna get some tough hacks. Somebody gonna hack you up. You know, and that's another way that you get sized up in prison as well. You know, they pick all kinds of ways that these guys are strategic when they trying to find a chink in somebody's armor. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a basketball game. You know, they'll try you. It could be a card game, chess game. You know, any little thing. You know what I'm saying? They trying to poke. They're trying to find and see if they can find something where they can exploit you, and that's not necessarily say to try to to rape you or anything, but just to dominate you and just to make you subservient or show that they superior to you. You know.
Yeah. So, you know what I find interesting? How much do they pay inmates to work in the kitchen?
I think you start off with 18 cents an hour.
All right. So what I really found interesting, man, like how dudes would come home from jail talking about, I was in the kitchen, I was getting money, I was running that thing, right? But you for 18 cents an hour, but you won't work at Wawa
Exactly.
for 15 an hour.
Yeah.
You won't work at Chick-fil-A for 16 an hour.
Yeah. One thing about
So how does that even make sense? Like how are the youth? How are they really thinking? Like you think it's a badge of honor to work in the kitchen in the penitentiary, but you don't think it's a badge of honor to make a good, legitimate living out here. And that's decent bread, 16, 17, 18 hours an hour, especially when you're 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
But you're bragging about working in the kitchen in the prison.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Like this is right. Is that
Hold on, Dan. Run that back one more time about how much y'all making the job. Like how much people make the job.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, good. You got to say 1, 2, 3 and smack your hand.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. So we're back. So let me ask you a question. What I found interesting: how much does it cost? Oh no, excuse me. How much does the state pay you when you work in the kitchen in the penitentiary in the prison?
well, you start off making 18 cents an hour. I believe you can make up to the most, like a very high grade, maybe 52 cents.
So
At the most.
So okay.
Not in the kitchen. That's like having like a building maintenance job, something like that.
So that's like you a professional. That's
Yeah,
like having
yeah,
a
yeah.
master's degree on the street.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make, let's say 18 cents an hour. Let's bump it up to 20. So you're working 8 hours a day, right? For how much is that?
Man,
$1.60?
dollars some change, yeah.
So you're working a full day for $1.60, but you'll come home and brag about how you was working in the kitchen and you was running the kitchen in the penitentiary, but you won't work at Wawa
Yeah.
because you corny. You corny if you work at Wawa. You won't work at Chick-fil-A.
See, the thing is this, is that,
Explain that mindset of the youth, man.
well, one thing you're gonna do is, if nobody's sending you no money orders, nobody's sending you nothing, no checks, you gonna work, unless you just a fool, So the same thing, man. This is what we got to use. This is the thing. When you in prison, you have to use all of these things that you're not getting, that we took for granted on the street, like a good paying job. And we have to use this by working in the prison to retrain in your thought process of how you're going to be when you get home. So you have to go get this job in the prison and think, you know what? If I can work for 18 cents an hour, I know if I get on the street, I can work for $15 an hour at McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Wawa, whatever fast food chain that you want, that you desire. So this is how you have to reprogram your way of thinking. You have to go through this sweat and these tears and these hardships to help strengthen you, to help strengthen your mind and help get your mind right when you go home on the street. Because if you don't, you're going to run into the same problem over and over and over again. Yeah. And I'm telling you from experience, I know, we have a mentality, or let's say I had a mentality that I never wanted anybody to see me doing bad. I never wanted to see anybody to see me being broke. And this is something that a lot of us coming from our communities faced, because we want to look like we getting money when we don't have no money. And that's the biggest stigma that's been holding us back for a long time.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting too, man, because it started early. Because I remember, man, one time, man, my sneaks was dirty. And I was late for school washing my sneaks and my shoestrings and everything. And some of my friends, I'm like, yo, why you ain't come to school? It's like, because I ain't got no school clothes, man. So it kind of, where we come from, like, you kind of nix your education. If you ain't got no school clothes, you ain't going to school looking dirty.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You're going to skip school. Your sneaks messed up, you're going to skip school.
Yeah. I didn't. That's what happened to me. I didn't go to school if I didn't have nothing new to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, and for real, honestly, you know, all this mentality came from my predecessors.
Yeah, you come from a family, they was getting money.
Yeah.
They was in the streets real heavy.
They that, you know, like how we say, you know, I was like really born in. I wasn't sworn in for real.
No,
I was really born in.
I remember you was always running around trying to get into something.
Yeah, you know, so this, you know, and it all comes from chasing my uncle.
Yeah. What was
No, I was saying, you know,
we ready? Okay, good.
No, I was basically saying, you know, that, you know, this whole thing came from trying to keep up with my uncle. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think he got a DVD. It's called North Philly's Best Kept Secret.
Yeah, I saw that joint.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know what I'm saying? That's what my whole life became, or trying to be like my uncles.
And that's what these young boys trying to do. You trying to be like the shooter that came before you, but ironically, he got rocked. So now you're trying to out-murder other people. At least when we were coming up, it was like, we're going to see who get the most money.
That's right.
Who get the most bread, who get the most
right.
chicks. You think what I'm saying? Who got the best shoes, who got the best car, not the most homicides.
Exactly. At the same time, not letting nobody extort you.
No. And so let me ask you a question, right? And then we're going to recap what we did and we'll be done. This is what I hear a lot from the young bucks out here. Oh, yeah, things is different now. You don't understand. What?
I think what's different is it's sort of like I mentioned in prison. It's sort of like a prison mentality on the street. And the reason what I'm saying is that because everything in prison is magnified. Mm-hmm. So now on the street, everything on social media is magnified.
Yeah.
So a lot of these beefs and a lot of these killings be happening off of someone saying something online. You know, you got a bunch of cyber thugs, you know, tweeting or whatever you want to call it, DMing or posting. And a lot of these things that's happening on the street is because these dudes is being disrespectful to each other on Instagram or whatever, you know, whatever platforms they're using. So a small ounce of disrespect on social media. Like
I see where you're going with this. You got 100 comments. Ooh.
It's magnified.
Oh, we came at your neck. Oh, you going to let them get away with that?
Yes, it's magnified, you know, like someone looking like they getting money. It's magnified.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you see him in the street. You don't see
He
none of that.
He the leader of Dead Broke Records.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know, so you know you can be whatever you want to be online. You know what I'm saying? And then the minute somebody check you or say something about you, now you want to grab your gun.
And it's funny too, man, because that's why we started developing Fuse, you know, our own social media platform. See, let me tell you why Instagram, in my opinion, is so popular, because on Instagram you could be who you want to be.
That's right.
See, when we let Fuse out here, you could be who you are. It's cool though. Everybody ain't got it.
That's right.
I didn't have clothes and shit like that coming up. Most of my shirts I used to wear to school was PAL shirts. Remember, I played ball, so I had 15 different colored PAL shirts every day. I wore sweatpants until I was 25.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? We had no money.
Yeah, no doubt.
So on Fuse, man, that's why I said, you know what, man, we could develop our own social media platform and talk about our own issues, stuff that really affect us, and stop fraud. If you spend half the time trying to really get it like you do fraud,
stop fraud.
You might make something of yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I respect the grind. See, young boys, listen, I ain't really come up until I was 40-something. But I've been grinding my whole life. And I don't want to sound like some of these rappers, but I literally been grinding my whole life. I didn't come up until I was 40-something. But it ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
That's right.
You dig what I'm saying? That's why I respect the process. You gotta go through the process. You ain't gonna just wake up and just jump in the fan. Who the fuck is you?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? You the fucking Thanos from the Avengers. You
Yeah.
put a, you went to my fucking Infinity Store. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Here go Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
It don't work that way.
Nah.
That's why Fuse is important, man. And coming off platforms, because we're going to get some of you goofy young boys on here, and really, we're going to get two rival goofy young boys on here. Me, you're going to be on here too, because you know they can't fight. So what's going to happen is, y'all going to find out that y'all goofy little niggas got more in common than you don't have in common.
That's right.
So when you shoot him, it's really like shooting yourself. He got the same problems that you got.
Nah, that's right.
Y'all going at each other's necks for nothing. That's why Fuse is important, man. That's why I decided a few years ago we need our own platform to tell our own story.
And also,
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
also, y'all got to stop acting like y'all too prideful to squash some beef. Everybody, y'all don't, you can squash beef, man, and still be a man afterwards. One thing about a lot of people, growing up is that, a lot of us knew that we can kill each other, we can hurt each other, but we just had that respect that we just not going to take it there.
Yeah.
We had a conversation and it's done. So a lot of this stuff, man, it's not even really worth it, man. Because somebody says something to you on social media. Like, come on, man. You about to ruin your whole life. You're about to ruin that person's life. Everybody lose. You go to jail. Your mom lose you. You kill a person. Their mom lose them. It don't make no sense. So you just got to stop acting like y'all don't know how y'all scared to squash beef, man.
Yeah. Actually, it takes more of a man to really say, you know what? It's cool.
Yeah.
Let's walk away. It's easier to shoot up the block. It's easier to talk crazy and all this other stuff. I know being humble is very difficult for this new generation, but if you want to experience what he experienced, then keep going.
I'm not glorifying crime, but it's like don't be a dumb criminal. Stop mentioning what you doing on social media. Stop mentioning you've swung through somewhere on social media.
Trying to impress people you don't even know.
This stuff is nothing but falsehood. It's all smoke and mirrors. That's all it is.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in that cell by yourself, it's solitude.
Fortress of solitude.
Yeah. You don't really know what solitude is until you're sitting in that cell by yourself. In them four walls. And you can't call nobody. I'm telling you, coming from our community, we don't support each other when we go to prison. So I'm telling you, when you're in that cell by yourself, hoping you can tell, but you can't tell on nobody because everybody telling on you, you're going to realize that whatever you was doing wasn't worth it, man.
You heard that? And that's coming from the horse's mouth. So I just brought on my lifelong friend, my homie, my brother. Listen, he got told on by his second best friend. He got told on by his connect. He said that. You know what I'm saying?
Few others.
And a few others.
It was more.
He was offered 30 years. He could have made a lot of people's life difficult, but he didn't. When I heard he got indicted and I heard he got arrested, I had no fear because I knew he wasn't going to fold. Like all you young boys, y'all all fold. I knew he wasn't going to fold. I knew he wasn't going to tell on nobody. I got the phone call. I was ordered to move your baby mom at the time. Never looked at his baby mom sideways. Never called her out of turn. Never said, if you need anything, just let me know. No, you want me to do something for your baby mama, you call me. We'll go that route. And you never thought I would backdoor you with your baby mom, not one time.
Never.
And that's what that's all you young boys, this is what's gonna happen to you. They're gonna backdoor you, they're gonna try to line you up. I don't do no manual labor.
I know.
Lifting all that shit for you, moving all that shit out of there. But that's true friendship and brotherhood. But y'all heard a story, man, that's real life. And young boys, man, put them guns down. Because if you, like I said it before in another podcast, if you can build a ghost gun, you could go to plumbing school and build some pipes.
That's right.
You could look at you could take an electrical course to be an electrician. You could do a lot of different things.
Now, I'm glad you said that. See, also, I'm not I'm not nobody that's trying to save the world. But for those who are going out there with stop the violence, put the guns down, and doing these peace marches and all these things, so on and so forth. When you tell someone to stop doing something, you have to give them a solution. So if you want to take something away from them, you gotta give them something to do that's gonna benefit them. So you can't just say stop selling drugs. I mean, you can say that, but you should. But you need to give them an alternative. You need to help them figure out what I'm gonna do to make money. You got to figure out, okay, if he's selling drugs because he's illiterate, you got to try to help get him in school. So that's the way that we have to go. We can't just keep preaching and talking to these young boys and thinking they're gonna listen. They're not listening. Number one, for somebody who don't have the experience, they only respect people who have experience in what they going through. So therefore, if you that person that has this experience of what they're going through, give them a solution and stop browbeating them and rapping their head off. They don't want to hear it.
Facts. And last but not least, when my man was booked, he said, I'm going to start a business. You got a record, so I ain't going to say what type of business you in. This whole joint hot. But what I'm saying is he started his own business when he was in, right?
With the help of
who? I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do, man.
The law subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah, and whatever you needed me to do, I was going to do it. Because
him and then my wife, which done everything.
Yeah.
To be clear.
She needed to hear that.
Everything.
Yeah, so he started his own business. He came home, you know what I'm saying? He doing his thing. You know what I mean? You got a big boy, big body out there. I ain't gonna say what type of car you got. That's how you know it's nice. That's how you know it's nice. He got a big body out there. You know what I mean? We went to the dealership together. Yeah, he went and grabbed that joint. And he's living a halal, clean, law-abiding life. If he could do it, because he was a little criminal coming up. I couldn't tell you nothing back then. He was always into something. Yeah. I used to see him walking down the street fast. He had this walk when he was about to go do something. Like, yo, where you going? Oh, I'll see you in a minute, brother. Jabril. But yeah, he's doing his thing now. He's totally legit. He don't want no smoke. And for that dude that told on him, nigga, you know who you are. Y'all, but you know the one I'm talking about. Yeah. The one I warned you against in the first place. You a sucker. You's a sucker. And my man home and he doing better than you. Yeah. Now what he should have done was, right, and this goes for the Muslims who like to tell on one another. What he should have done was, as a Muslim, he should have when he got caught, he should have took his time. He should have told you what happened and say, listen, fear Allah. Because if you don't, the same thing that happened to me gonna happen to you. But he didn't do that. He sold you out. He's a sucker. He's a sucker.
Yeah,
He's a sucker. Yeah, got a baby mom or something. I'm gonna get my wigs back. You think I'm joking? Give me 6 weeks. Wesley Snipes from New Jack City, man. Look at me. All right, this is another episode of FuseInAction. You heard it here first. Our social media platform that's coming soon to a theater near you. And we're going to take this joint all through the hood, all across the world. And like I said, man, the difference between Fuse and Instagram is Instagram, you can be who you want to be, but Fuse, you can be who you are, man.
Stop fraud.
And stop fraud, man. Come on, man. Stop fraud, man. All right, let's keep it real. All right. Real niggas out.